Fears are growing about a potential full-blown war between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. Right now, Israel and Hezbollah are trading increasingly intense threats. The latest from the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, who says if a war breaks out, the group will target Cyprus, the nearby island nation that is a member of the European Union. Earlier, Israel warned the possibility of war is getting very close after Hezbollah released this threatening drone video purporting to show sensitive Israeli military as well as civilian sites. Tensions between Israel and Hezbollah have been rising ever since the October 7th attacks by Hamas, but especially here in recent weeks. We have former Defense Secretary from the Trump administration, Mark Esper, with us now. He also serves on the board or as a strategic advisor for several aerospace and defense-related companies. Sir, we see this Hezbollah drones, the message loud and clear, but these drones have also been rather effective at evading Israeli air defense, hitting Israeli military sites, even civilian homes in northern Israel. And U.S. officials, we've learned, are worried that Israeli systems, including Iron Dome, will not be able to keep up. How concerned are you about this?
Sure, Brianna. Look, we should be concerned, and this has been a concern now since the beginning of the conflict in Gaza. Since that time, Hezbollah has been shooting rockets and drones into Israel from the north nearly every day. And at this point, they've caused a handful of Israelis to be killed. But they also have displaced well over 60,000 to 80,000 Israelis from northern Israel. So they've been displaced for some time. I am very concerned about this because we're now seeing a real escalation in terms of the rhetoric. I think what Hezbollah did with regard to sending that drone over Israel, over the port of Haifa, was a clear threat, a warning that we can see you. And if we can see you, we can shoot you. And that's important because we know that Hezbollah has an inventory of well over 150,000 rockets and missiles, which could do quite a lot of damage to all parts of Israel.
What would a two-front war mean in this conflict, and also specifically for the U.S. as Israel's main patron?
Well, fighting across two fronts is hard because, of course, it draws resources, one from each. And maybe the Israeli view is that they are wrapping up operations in Rafah, that they can turn to, in Gaza, so that they can turn to Hezbollah now in the north. They've been talking about this, hinting about this for some time. There are parts of the Israeli government that have wanted to stir things up with Hezbollah in the north, and maybe they're reaching this point right now. I think for the United States, look, we're trying to get the Middle East to simmer down and not expand, and yet this would be quite an expansion. Keep in mind that Hamas, while it had an estimated 30,000 or so fighters in a small swath of territory, Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, has claimed to have over 100,000 fighters. And so you could see a much broader conflict. And then on top of this, we got to keep in mind strategically, geopolitically, Iran is in the midst of a leadership transition, and we should know by the end of this month who the next president of Iran is and what direction will he take the country, particularly with regard to this conflict in the Middle East.
I wonder what you make of the fighting between Benjamin Netanyahu and the IDF, because the IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari said those who think Israel can make Hamas disappear are wrong. I mean, paging Benjamin Netanyahu loud and clear here. He's been very critical of the IDF lately, and his office pushed back on that. Who's right here?
Well, the IDF spokesman was right. He's correct. I mean, we've all been saying for some time, you cannot destroy Hamas. It's an ideology, a theology. It's a cult, right? Now, what you can do is you can neutralize its leadership, which I've argued and others have. You can decimate the ranks of its fighters to make sure that they are no longer combat ineffective. But in terms of completely destroying and eradicating them is not possible. What you'd have to do is, again, take out the leadership, remove their warfighting capability, and then you have to have a police or a security presence on the ground to continue to kind of, as we say, keep mowing the lawn every now and then to make sure that the right fighters don't rise up. So look, I think the spokesman was right. You see this growing split between the IDF and the political leadership, which is quite curious. We saw when Benny Gantz left the government a couple weeks ago. Gantz, of course, was an opposition political leader and a former head of the IDF military. And I think lastly, Brianna, we saw just the other day over the weekend, it seemed to catch the surprise of Netanyahu that the IDF called for a tactical pause in operations in Gaza to allow for the humanitarian aid to get through. And that really caught the government off guard, and it was others in the government have objected. So we see a growing rift now between the military and its political leaders.
Yeah, he seemed surprised and also pretty ticked off by it. It was very clear. Secretary Esper, we always appreciate you being on. Thank you so much.